Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe where we help and heal one day at a time. We're going to talk about some of the times that the narcissist will tell on themselves. Be very in tune to the words that they say. I'm going to give an example where my ex, we were supposed to get married 3 weeks before the wedding. He canceled it, and then we got back together. So we were intimate, and he's like, sex is always better when you love the person. And he said it in an endearing way. And it's like, wait, we've been together for basically a decade, and now you're saying all of a sudden that sex is better when you love the person. So it was him telling on himself that recently he's been with somebody. So if you pick up on that stuff, so we ended up talking about it. He did come clean because we were technically on that break. Yeah, on that break. So, anyways, I said something similar to just don't ever do that again, something like that. And he was like, that really hurt you. And it's almost like he had a glimmer in his eye and like an adrenaline rush, like, wow, that it was cool, like, he hurt my feelings because I cared that much about him. It was just a really interesting facial expression that was like 26 years ago, 27 years ago, and it's still so ingrained in my head. So that's something to be aware of. The way that they tell on themselves is often through projection. You can often tell what's going on with them. Another thing that I wanted to bring up is I'm still friends with my second ex narc. He's been trying, we're having a friendship, but I had a little breakdown just because of the poor communication for like, I don't know, a couple months. I've been asking like one question. And he kind of answers it, but not directly. I'll be honest, I was going to see him. There's 2 different times he was going to come over and, of course, canceled. So I just kind of had a hard time with it because it's like, I just don't even know what my reality is. Like, are you coming over, not coming over? Are we going to see each other? But anyways, my point is I blew his phone up, and of course I feel like a jerk because he didn't deserve it. He is trying, and I kind of realized, he didn't deserve all those phone calls. But I was like, it's like a reverse projection where I'm saying I'm a jerk. When it's for like, really, he was the jerk for not answering the question. I tried to explain it, and he got a little ticked off at me. So I kind of like to read you his response because we're supposed to be like friends working through communication issues. And this is what you get when you explain exactly what you're going through. You apologize. You say, look, I'm just having a hard time. I just kind of want to know, can we agree to this? And granted, I did blow his phone up, but his reply, and this just shows how detached they are. He's like, seriously, I can't believe you. 0 changes. We've talked and yet you still persist. I really don't understand why you do that. I'll talk to you soon, but stop blowing up my phone. So he got ticked off. I was reaching out with emotions. He said 0 changes. I've like not talked about relationship stuff. I've really tried. I cry, many times. And I hold back from, the crazy communication. We're just trying to be friends. And then we talk, yet you still persist. Well, because we don't address that question at hand. It's left undone. And then it starts to eat at me. I don't know if you guys can relate to that. And he still is like, I really don't understand why you do that. I'm thinking, oh my God, like I was telling you, like in so many messages, exactly what I'm feeling, why I do what I do. I even said, I don't quite know how to handle this. And, there's no, this is what we need to do or relax. He just says he doesn't even understand it. And then he'll say, I'll talk to you soon because I said, is it time to say goodbye? So I think he doesn't want to lose his supply, even as a friend or ego boost or whatever. And then, of course, he says, stop blowing up my phone, which is a fair statement. But it just shows how they are so detached from our feelings, how they cannot process our emotional minds. And I was like very succinct in it. And usually he doesn't get back with me. He'd give me the silent treatment, which makes it worse. So we are trying to be friends. We'll see how long it lasts, but it's still toxic. And I don't know if he's self-aware now because he is a little bit different, but it's still a messed up situation. So it's just something to be aware of. If you stay in a relationship, some of you have to, whether it's family members, it is okay to walk away from people. Right now, he's not depleting me as like he did in the past. So it's up to you if you work through the relationships you're in, but it's just some things to be aware of. How much does it take from you? Because usually, we'll see how long this lasts. He's getting married, and is it even worth it? We have great conversations, so if we keep it at a superficial level, that's how you need to deal with a narcissist. Just keep it superficial. Keep it just, I don't know, like you're talking about the news or talking about the weather, but don't get emotional. Don't share stuff. And he probably will call. He's probably going to ask me about why I acted that way. This time I'm not discussing it. I've already explained it 1,000 different ways. If he doesn't understand it, it's just going to cause a fight. And that's an adrenaline rush for them. It's an ego stroke. They also want to get into your mind where you're like, but because I love you and this and that, and I'm just hurt that we're not together. And it's like everything would be like ego strokes. Like, why? Why did you do this? And it's not to get to the root of the problem. It is not to get to the root of the problem. It's to kind of get that ego boost or to get tools in their toolbox. So the journey of healing from narcissistic abuse is really, really hard. I'm moving on, pursuing another future with whoever comes into my life. Sometimes it's hard to let go. Sometimes you need to wean yourself off. That's probably what's going to happen. This is my coping technique right now, because the physical pain that you can feel when you're in a narcissistic relation, or the breakup, the cold discard, is terrible. It's physically painful for me. Of course, you cry and you can't function. So this is helping me function a little bit, but it's weaning off. That's just the way I need to do it. You guys can do it how you need to do it. Sometimes you have to be ready to leave, but we're not pursuing anything. But they're still cold, calculating, and just like with my first ex, Narc, he was a master manipulator. He would kind of make statements to where you would reply like in the negative, where he purposely said it the other way, and you're like, or he would kind of make you tell on yourself for whatever, just silly things, like, I don't know. You've probably never had a beer, and then you're like, of course I did, and it's like he knew that you did, and this is an odd example, but it's like you come back with exactly what he thought, and he pulls it out of you, to where it's getting to things that you might not want to talk about. So he'll state it like, he's also a cop, so they know how to pull things out of you, and that's not the best example, but in a narcissistic relationship, beware of the red flags. There are red flags all over the place. Heal, take time for yourself, grow. No contact is usually the quickest way. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's the quickest way, but sometimes it's like quitting cold turkey. Sometimes some people can and can't do that. It's up to the different person. So do it how you need to do it. Watching these videos, educating yourself, finding different techniques, different relaxations, different activities, rebuild your friendships that you've had with your friends. That's one thing I'm doing, is rebuilding family and friends. That's a big commitment I've made. It's helped. Do a distraction. To be honest with you, these YouTube videos are kind of, instead of me calling him, I'm able to leave him alone. So sometimes you need to vent to somebody. If you guys want to vent in the comments, feel free to. Share your experiences. Sometimes we have a good, tight-knit group of friends, but often with narcissists, they do isolate you. I know with my first ex, he went out, to the bar after work with the guys, sometimes to bonfires. I stayed home with our kid because it was late at night, and so I didn't really go out. I finally had a chance to go out with a cop's sister, and so we went out, and it was like 11 o'clock. He's like, when are you coming home? It's the first time I went out in a year and a half. And he's all upset, like, when are you coming home? When are you coming home? And I never checked on him. I just let him come home, Sometimes it was like 3 in the morning after the bars close. And just the tabs that they keep, it's like a double standard. And if you don't answer, you're in trouble. One time I did ask, just casually, like he came home kind of late, and I was not accusing him of anything. I'm like, oh, what'd you guys do afterwards, after the bar? And he got so offensive and like mad at me. And then I'm like, it's okay, it's okay. And then he's chasing me down, like, no, I'll tell you, I'll tell you, I'll tell you. And it's kind of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, I'm not accusing you. Then it kind of makes you wonder, like, should I be worried? And that night, maybe I had nothing to worry about. I don't think that night I had anything to worry about. But the paranoia that they get from previous times, or what they're planning on doing, when they react like that, when you're just trying to have a conversation, you're not calling them out, it's kind of like, why did that set him off so much? Little things like that. Be aware of that. And big hugs to you guys, and I will see you in the next video.